Hello there. I wanted to talk today about fear and feedback. There are many times where I think it's hard for leaders to give feedback to people who report to them. They're worried about what the recipient may do, how they're going to receive the information. Are they going to be open? Are they going to be upset? Are they going to cry? Are they going to get angry? Are they going to get mad? And ultimately, it's about having a good relationship with the person to let them know that you're doing this in their best interest, that you're sharing the feedback with them so that they can change their behavior, do something different, help them succeed. And I think there's just I don't know, unfortunate thing happens for people where they just avoid it and they don't want the confrontation. And so they don't give the feedback and then the person never knows. So I have an example today that occurred. A leader decided to resign from her company. And during the resignation conversation, her manager proceeds to, obviously say she's sad that the person's leaving the company, but then gives all kinds of feedback that should have been given along the way. And so it made me wonder what prevented that conversation from happening up until now. Was it the fear that the manager felt of giving the feedback and how it would be received? Or was it that the manager maybe assumed that the person knew? I'm not sure what happened, but it's just striking to me that it didn't happen before now, because maybe if that person had been given this feedback before, she could have done something different. She could have changed her behavior. It might have made her more successful in the organization and allowed her to stay. She'd been there 10 years and now she's having to leave. So if you're a leader, don't be afraid to give feedback. It's about helping the person grow and develop. And they cannot do that if you don't tell them what's going on. They cannot stand out and talk about things differently, show their value, if they don't know they're not doing everything correctly or that there's opportunities to do things differently. So please, if you're a leader, please give the feedback. The second thing, though, that was interesting about that was it created fear for her. And it created fear for her because she's now going to this other company at a higher level. And so it placed some doubt in her mind about whether or not that manager's feedback was accurate, first of all. And second of all, if it was going to hold her back from seeing success in this new company. And so as I watched her go through this moment of, am I going to be successful? She got very fearful. She was almost stuck and wondering if she made the wrong decision to leave and wondering if she could actually do something different to be successful in this new company. And it's interesting that that manager had that much, had that strong of an ability to give the feedback, and it changed everything for this person in an instant, who was so excited about going somewhere else and now wondered if she was going to be able to do it. Now she knows all the hard stuff. She knows how to do the job and all that kind of stuff, but she just needs to know how to talk about what she's doing in a bigger way, to share what she's doing, to let other people know what she's doing, to make them feel that she has got everything in hand, that she knows what she's doing. And so that's an opportunity to do that differently for sure, but she's got the hard part down. And so I just wanted to reassure her that she can do this. If I can do it, she can do it. And that's what I help people with every day, that they just need to think about and be more planful about what they say and preparing for conversations differently, thinking about how can they position the things that they're doing with an eye to sharing a story or sharing some facts about what's going on, or making sure that the other leaders that she's talking to know what's going on in her area. I think for whatever reason, sometimes people feel like it's bragging or feel like it's too hard to do, or I don't know what to say, or I don't want it to appear as if I'm, saying something wrong. But if you don't talk about what you're doing, it's a black box. No one can see inside of it. No one knows what you're doing. No one knows how you're doing it. No one knows what your team is doing. And that's the worst thing ever, because that just is an opportunity for that team to be taken away and for someone to think about that later and never want to promote them. And so we just talked about, did she have an opportunity now to show up differently in this new role? And what did she want that to look like? So that's what coaching is about, is helping people move forward, right? We can't stay in the past. That all happened already. She can't do anything about it, but she can do something different going forward. And that's what I wanted her to think about, was what are the possibilities of creating a new way of leading, showing up in a different way, and what did she want that to look like? How did she want them to think of her? What did she want them to say about her at this new company? So that's where we ended the conversation, was how can we think about the possibilities that you have to do something different in a bigger way and let people see the leader that you want to be. Another example is a job interview that someone had, and they were, again, really smart, very smart, know their stuff up and down, no problem, can do things that I can't even imagine doing. And they got hung up on saying all the right words, trying to be perfect, trying to do what they thought the person that they were interviewing with wanted them to do. And I just asked her to stop for just a minute and think about, what do you think that interviewer needs to hear from you in order for them to decide that you're the right person for the job? Do they need to hear the things that they probably already know? Or do they need to hear the things that are going to set you apart from any other candidate and make you successful in this organization? And so she thought about it, and she's like, oh my gosh, right. I'm spending all this time on things that I don't need to tell them, but I'm not spending time on the things that I really need to tell them so that they know. And so sometimes we get in our own head because of fear, and we stay in the place that's comfortable. We talk about the things that are comfortable, but we don't talk about the things that really help us shine, where we can talk about the things that we're doing to add value, that we're doing that are, helping our team grow, talking about the strengths that we have or the successes that we had, or even the challenges that we're having and how we're addressing them. It's about being open to these maybe tougher conversations. They're not as easy, but it allows you to let people see you in a new way. And that's what they need to see in order for them to hire you for the job, help you be successful in a new job. If you're not doing those things, then no one knows. It's that black box all again. And we want you to be comfortable just stating the situation, just talking about the facts. It doesn't have to be perfect. God knows, in this video alone, I've had a few opportunities where things were not perfect, but that doesn't diminish the message. It doesn't take away from the message that I'm sending. And so the more you can be comfortable with just talking about the things that you're doing, the easier it will become. And that's what I wanted this first person to talk about and think about for herself, is take the time to practice some of these things that we're talking about. Just have conversations, see how they go, make changes, do some experimentation, because she's got some time now before she leaves her organization to try some things. While she knows the people, while she knows the projects, she can do something different and see what works and practice before she goes to this new job. So there's a lot of ways that visibility can show up for you and help you grow and develop. And some of those things are really easy and easy actions to take, like sending a status report or asking a question in a meeting, although that's not easy for everyone. I totally understand that. But there's some things that are harder, and some things that you have to think about. And what are you doing to really help yourself be visible? Because in that first situation, she might have been able to stand up for herself differently and talk about the things that she was doing, but she didn't. She didn't think she had that opportunity to do that. She thought her work should stand on its own, much like I did. And when she thought about it in retrospect, after today's conversation, she realized, I didn't stand up for myself. I didn't talk about the things that I was doing. I let other people take the credit for what I did, instead of saying, I did the work on that. I'm really proud of it. It was great. She didn't feel like she could do that. So that's where fear comes in and takes over and shuts you down and keeps you small. So don't let fear do that. Don't let fear win. I let fear win way too long. And I want you to have the opportunity to speak up and talk about the things that you're doing and show how great you are. But you have to take that time to do that. You have to plan and think about how to do it in the best way, but don't be afraid of it. You're just sharing information, sharing facts, talking about what your team is doing or what you are doing. It doesn't have to be scary. So don't put the pressure on yourself to make it scary or to make it really big and perfect. Just share information. Be perfectly imperfect and let people know what you're doing and let them see inside that black box that you may have not let them see into before. I hope you have a great day.